this would never happen to me. And then it did. Now that would definitely never ever happen to me. And then it did again. I'm sure many parents can relate and had these thoughts when they saw those little kids rolling and crying on the grocery store floor or breaking that expensive vase in a party. Before my children were born, I had big hopes and even bigger dreams. I truly believed my kids would be different because they would receive the best parenting from me, of course. My fantasy kids would never have any pee or poop accidents. My real kids were the exact opposite. My son peed on my face multiple times during diaper changes. Memories I will never forget. And just when I finally mastered the right strategy, he conveniently outgrew his shoot the pee phase. My fantasy kids slept through the night from day one. My real kids, not even close. They slept all day and stayed up all night, smiling and chatting in their baby language, full of energy. And as a new mom, I found it adorable and stayed up admiring them until I couldn't keep my eyes open the next day. After a week, I realized they were doing this purely to torture me, and the admiration quickly disappeared. My fantasy kids never threw tantrums in stores. They walked through the grocery aisles like horses with blinders, ignoring the toys and candy altogether. I used to watch those other kids rolling on the floor and silently congratulate myself for raising those well-behaved kids. In my fantasy land, of course. Well, the truth is, my real kids never rolled on the floor either. But every no to candy or a Lego set came with tears, drama, and intense negotiation. Eventually, I stopped taking them shopping altogether. My fantasy kids were focused, driven, and highly motivated. Future Einstein in the making. With my real kids, I pushed, I encouraged, I stressed, and I worried. Well, they went to college, but that's about it. No Einstein, no Shakespeare, no Beethoven. My fantasy kids would never roll their eyes or talk back. Turns out that is the only skill that came naturally and effortlessly to my real kids. My fantasy kids loved my healthy cooking and happily ate the broccoli and the spinach and the other vegetables that I served them with love. My real kids came home praising their friend's mom's pasta while mine was simply meh. Well, don't get me wrong, I love my kids deeply and they have made me proud. But for those brief moments of pride, I moved mountains, survived endless drama, dragged them where they didn't want to go, and occasionally resorted to bribery disguised as sweetness, while raging inside like a volcano all ready to erupt. And that fantasy of raising those perfect little angels? The kids who would adore me, praise me publicly, support me endlessly, and listen to me without further questioning, they stayed exactly where they all began, in my imagination, of course. Often, I blamed myself. If only I had done this or that, things probably would have been better, and my kids would listen to me without further questioning. But when I think rationally, I realize something very important. Those conflicts, those struggles, and those real life moments shaped them into who they are today. Independent human beings with opinions of their own, capable of making good choices. Maybe I wasn't such a bad parent after all. Maybe I deserve some credit for raising them, feeding them, keeping them alive, driving them to packed schedules, teaching them values, letting them drive me crazy, and still loving them unconditionally. And now, when I reflect and think, I often feel crazy to still be madly in love with them, to feel energized when they come home, and still allow them to drive me crazy, and realize that I actually love those moments with them more than the silent peace in my empty home now. Real kids don't come from fantasies, they come from life. Motherhood isn't perfect at all. It's chaotic, it's exhausting, but then deeply rewarding. And when those little humans grow into responsible adults, you definitely need to pause and credit yourself for surviving those famous preteen and teenage eye roll years, those dreadful college app wars, the unheard procrastination lectures you gave them anyways, and the endless, but my friend's parents allow it statements. I survived and now I'm missing those years, and all of you will survive too.